art has the power to move people in meaningful ways, especially when it's in your face.
I'm really into the immersive aspect of art. The scale is so large that when you're in front of it, it just overtakes you.
We are behind computer screens and phone screens, and we miss the connection, so we have to go back to something that we can touch.
Whether it's an old-fashioned craft once confined to the rocking chair,
There's always the reaction. It's beautiful to see the reaction because this is really what the art is about.
or an explosion of color and mood that feels more like a dream.
I like to create rhythm and movement. I want things to look like they're shimmering or they're moving.
Art sparks conversation.
But we have to change it a little bit. If we don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Art pushes agendas.
A lot of people are feeling maybe a little lost right now. So I did a series of murals that encourage positive growth.
And always provokes a reaction.
There's a smile, there's a photograph. I have pieces stolen, I have pieces burned down.
Hueman and Olek, two artists who let their imagination do all the talking.
Like someone actually said my art made them feel like they were melting, which I think is awesome.
Taking it to the streets. I'm Padma Lakshmi, and this is Spark.
The moment I started spray painting, I literally felt human because I was using my entire body. It felt good, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. I paint on every surface that I could possibly get my hands on. Mostly it's murals. I like to create rhythm and movement. Even though I'm working on two-dimensional surfaces, I want things to look like they're shimmering or they're moving. My brother assists me on most of my murals, so when people are coming up to congratulate the artist, they're usually going up to him because they assume that I'm the assistant. I'm human and I'm an artist. I first started to use human when I was painting murals. I like the fact that people who aren't familiar with my work aren't quite sure of my gender when they see the name. Actually, a lot of people assume that I'm a male because they think it's Hueman, like a superhero or something. But no, it's human, like as in a human being. No one's ever calling a man's work masculine, but yet women's work always gets called feminine, and so I just wanted to get rid of that completely, and I just wanted people to focus on the art itself rather than the person painting it.
The artist, formerly known as Allison is all about escaping the limits of gender and of space. Hueman's imagination is too big to be confined in a picture frame. Her bold visions transform public spaces.
So much inspires me. As a kid, it was definitely graffiti. Just growing up outside of Oakland, I saw it so much, and I just loved the aesthetic of paint on such like rough and grimy and urban surfaces. It just looked so cool to me. When I was growing up, I've always had a passion for art, but I didn't realize that people actually did this for a living. All throughout college, I was a freelance graphic designer and web designer, and I ended up really hating it because my passion was actually in painting. All the while, I was following the art scene on social media and online, and I would always think, why isn't that me? You know, I could totally do that. I could totally paint the side of a building. People would just say, look, I have a wall, do you want to just mess around on it? So it was a fantasy of mine that I decided to make real.
Hueman's creations look like spontaneous explosions of color and movement. But there's nothing random here. What people most admire is an artist who works really hard to make something that looks easy.
So when I sketch for a mural, I start those off the way that I do with my canvases. So I'll create something in the studio first. When I look at a wall or a canvas, I like to envision a swoop from one end to the other. So I'm like trying to figure out the shape of their overall composition. I don't really use my sketchbook to plan things out. Usually that's done on my tablet where I can have access to all sorts of colors and reference photos. Usually I'll have a photo of the building itself and I'll superimpose it onto that to see what it looks like with the environment. I try to plan it all out to every last detail so that when I get to the wall, there's not much thinking I have to do. Usually it's all spray paint. You can get things that are detailed and small, or you can have these caps that'll give you these huge washes. That's why I like spray paint so much, just because it's so versatile and you can layer it and create these like really cool gradients. It's cool. I love spray paint. A lot of the walls I do now are commissioned walls, and I haven't counted lately, but I believe it's over 60, 65, I think.
In 2013, when Los Angeles lifted its longtime ban on street art, Hueman received its first ever commission for a mural in the Arts District.
I feel like the Bloom mural is a career highlight for me, not just because it's one of my favorite designs, but because I learned so much about how I work. That was the first mural where I really took the time to plan things out, and I really figured out how to get this realistic style with the spray paint, something that I had been struggling with before. I'm not so interested in creating political art, but I felt like I could encourage a mindset without shoving my opinion down people's throats. I think a lot of people are feeling maybe a little lost right now, so I use verbs that encourage positive growth. I started off with my piece Bloom because I feel like if we're growing in a positive way, maybe we'll understand each other better that way.
Hueman's work often depicts people in what she describes as an abstract in-between place, neither happy nor sad.
I was in Catholic school for 12 years, and the religious art used to really freak me out. Everything was so sad or just aching. So I was sort of obsessed with that, and that's why I like to create these people that are not smiling, but they're not dark either. It's just sort of just this ethereal quality. Sometimes they're laying in repose, and sometimes they're looking up like in ecstasy. I feel like I get a lot of that from the religious background. Social media has always been big for me. It's helped me to connect with people from across the world. It's helped me to connect with artists and collectors, and I've made and maintained so many friendships. The responses I get are pretty amazing. Like, someone actually said my art made them feel like they were melting, which I think is awesome because, I mean, my whole thing is I want the sensory experience. It's just really cool. My advice to someone who would want to get into the art world or the creative world in general, make sure that you're working on your skills and your talent. Always work hard even when no one's looking. I went through so many hurdles on my own. I've had projects that haven't turned out as I wanted them to, and some of them live in some very highly visible places. So when I pass by it, I'm like, damn, why'd I do that? I had so many really hard learning experiences, but I don't regret any of them because they taught me how to be who I am today. I'm not really seeking to be the best or most famous artist. I just really want to be able to do the work that I want to make. Just going bigger, just getting crazier, doing more immersive experiences, and really just keeping this up for as long as I can.
Working in the public is special because you're also making the mistake in public. I love to make work that it's really for everyone, like people who normally wouldn't go to a museum or a gallery can experience the work, and I really believe art can change the person. Even if you put a smile on somebody, and I'm pretty sure this person gonna have a better day. People sometimes ask me, aren't you tired of crocheting, are you bored of crocheting? And I feel like every day, every week brings me like a new ways of playing with this language that was given to me. Hey, my name is Olek, I'm an artist.
Olek is brilliant. She's elevated the quiet art of crochet into an in-your-face art form that's sometimes mocking, often irreverent, but never boring. She crochets anything that stands still long enough, and she taught herself how to do it while growing up in communist Poland.
I felt like I just want to accomplish this task on my own, and I figured out how to crochet on my own. In 2000, I moved from Poland to New York, and I really didn't know what I'm going to be doing. I went to LaGuardia Community College, only because it was like the least expensive college and very close to my house. And I looked at what kind of class they offer, and they have a fine art major. I was like, okay, I can do that. I used to draw in the past and paint and all this stuff, so that would be easy for me. And then I was very lucky because I met amazing professors. One professor, he looked at my hands and told me that I have a sculptor's hands. I was like, no, I don't want to do any sculpture. I'm interested in working with the fabric. I was working as a costume designer, a set designer, I was making clothes. And he actually convinced me that I should make something out of rope for him, or line or twine. And I went home and I spent like the whole night gluing, braiding, sewing through. So actually, this is the first piece I ever made, the top part. It's made with like the rope and plastic twine. There's this moment when you make a new piece as an artist that you're just like, oh, this is special. I was wrapping a lot of smaller objects in the beginning. I remember I made my first step ladder in 2003. I was sitting with my girlfriend and she was like busy working on something, and I saw the step ladder in her loft, and I just started crocheting it. I used this ladder to install my first show in 2004 in a gallery. But I only used the ladder to install the piece, and I put it in a like storage room. And then a collector came to the gallery before the opening, and he apparently looked at the like a storage room. He said, "Oh, what's this piece doing? We should put it in the show." And he put it in the middle of the room, and it was part of the show.
Not satisfied with exhibiting in museums and galleries, Olek did what many successful artists are unwilling to do. She broke the mold, finding new success and a new audience.
We decided to go on the street and just like play around. We're piling the crochet in a van and just going in the street and performing and wrapping different things. So that was exciting. So again, there was like a part of me always doing things in the public, because I felt like this is when we have the full freedom. Also, there was a way for us to engage anyone in our work. And this person didn't have to know about the performance happening somewhere or an exhibition somewhere. It was just like really in your face. You have to notice it, you don't have to react to it. There's something about like making pieces in the public spaces. When we were in Brooklyn, when we were talking about working on this car and looking for locations, actually this is the first location that came to my mind. I just don't crochet anything. I really like to have a personal connection to an object. And the story, the first car I ever crocheted in 2005, it was my father's car, actually, in Poland. So it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna go rent a car, you know? Like, I need to feel that that's the right thing to do. Like, I thought a few years ago that I would never crochet a car again, but then I saw this beauty, and I was like, no, I gotta do it. So there's always this aspect of being stressed, like when I'm working on something gigantic and I'm like, do I have enough crochet? I have to pre-make all the pieces and then go and wrap something. So the level of the stress is different. It's almost like a collage. Like the crochet panels is like paint, right? Then I'm gonna just like mask the car in crocheted blue camouflage. I have an entire rainbow actually to choose from. And yesterday I was like piling it up and blue just came to me. I don't know why. I felt because of the surroundings here, but because I know the car as well. And also I want to do something a little bit, you know, different. I feel like the car feels blue, you know? Also, the first car I've ever crocheted in 2005 was blue. Feeling blue. When the first layer is done, then I'm thinking like, okay, I want to like add second one. I prepared like a palette of colors and shapes that I just put together. This is actually my favorite part, when I'm adding all the pieces. I feel like now I'm just starting to work. Before it was like a warming up. And it's like this amazing feeling inside that I love when you're actually creating and just going. I think it's important to get people together to work on something. You know, it's fun. I feel like art is therapy and art is about connecting people together. And I think this is now really crucial. There's like 6, 7 people working together and sewing, right? They're connecting there. The hearts are connecting, the thoughts, they're talking about something. And that's something that I'm bringing more and more, getting people together.
It's an amazing contrast to the view, and the colours of the car. It's just unusual. I like it. I'm big into camo, so I love the knitted camo. It looks great.
My art is never finished. The people's response is the work. My art is a mirror. They don't have to take anything from my art. I can't expect them to take anything or want them. If you react, there's many different ways. There's a smile, there's a photograph. I have pieces stolen, I have pieces burned down. So there's always the reaction. It's beautiful to see the reaction because this is really what the art is about.
Olek is using crochet for knitting communities together. Inspired by the Women's March, she started Love across the USA. Women across the country are crocheting pieces for a series of murals featuring women, past and present, who have shaped this country.
I want to go in every state. Everybody does one square 2x2 feet, and then I come back after 2 months and putting the pieces together, and we all make the mural. So this project is about not just the murals that we're doing, which is also important, not just about the person that we are featuring on the mural, it's about us coming together and working.
Street art has the power to move people, and just as humans' work encourages positive growth, Olek believes her projects inspire deeper connections.
My path is not necessarily just being an artist. It's to make this community public projects. This is really the mission that I have. I know that crochet has this ability to get people together. This thread connects everybody. It's like when you're crocheting fabric, every loop you make makes it stronger and stronger and stronger. The same with us in society, right? We connect people together. We are behind computer screens and phone screens, and we miss the connection. So we have to go back to something that we can touch. It's special, it's different. So I hope to bring this back with the work I'm doing.